Welcome to Astrodology, the podcast that brings you knowledge, wisdom, and principles that can help you find the peace and comfort we all seek and deserve in our lives. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Astrodology with Astrid. I hope this message finds you well and doing really good. Today we're going to talk about, the topic I chose was Dharma/wisdom meditation. I am so happy and grateful that meditation is getting the center stage and acknowledgement that it has deserved. It is a long time coming, and people in the West, I'm talking about West because I live in the Western world, have started meditating since the late 30s, but it goes in waves like any other trend or thing, and I'm just happy to see that meditation has not been a fad. It has been sustainable, like things have been sustained in life. Meditation is coming to the forefront to help with anxiety, with stress, even to help us heal our physical bodies from disease. So Dharma, what is Dharma? In its most literal sense, it means a way of life. We might have heard the expression that certain practices can lead you to the Dharma, okay? Wikipedia offers the following definitions about Dharma. It is the importance of attitude of mind that enables an adept or practitioner to reharmonize his personal nature with the underlying principle behind natural phenomenon, leading towards the undoing of all egoistic falsehoods and ultimately release in nirvana, the peace of liberation, which in Sanskrit would be a word called Moksha. Freedom is Moksha. Law or reality, the way of the higher truths. Dharma also refers to the teachings and doctrines of the various founders of the traditions as the religious and moral doctrine of the rights and duties of each individual. Dharma can refer generally to religious duty and also means social order, right conduct, or simply virtue. The word is from a root, common Indo-Iranian root, dahar, which means to fasten, to support, to hold. For many Buddhists, the Dharma most often means the body of teachings expounded by the Buddha. Meditation is a method to help you connect with the Dharma. In order to grow in your life, in your yoga practice, we must create and engage in a meditative practice. There is numerous spiritual and scientific research that proves the power of meditation. Meditation will help you expand your asana poses, your mental flexibility and agility, and it will help you connect to the divine within you. Here are some of the wise words and thoughts on meditation. First one comes from BKS Iyengar. Yoga teaches us to cure what need not be endured and endure what cannot be cured. Barbara Miller Fisher, PhD. Over the years of practice, I came to understand that meditation was more than a method. It was a way of living very close to all experience. With that understanding came great insights. I watched the way that my thoughts and feelings arose, revealed themselves, and then disappeared. I saw both their power and their ever-changing, ephemeral nature. Even the boundary between myself and others began to thin as I sensed that we all are experiencing that flow. Sometimes, even in the midst of great turmoil, my mind grew quiet, and I rode the storms much like a great seabird high up on top of the winds. Here was the more complete meditative approach to knowing that my troublesome emotions, by being in the midst of the raging storm and outside of it at the same time. As it turned out, when trouble blew in, I needed to find not a storm-resistant shelter, but rather the stillness that is in the eye of the storm. That stillness was my gateway to a path towards wholeness. Even so, the world remains a stormy place. Outside, children shoot each other, criminals steal from us, and terrorists blow up buildings. Inside, emotions such as fear, anger, and despair often swirl. If we watch closely, we also see that inside and outside profoundly influence each other. For example, when terrorists blow up buildings, we become angry inside. It's also true that when we rage our way through the day, we're likely to create fear and anger outside in others. If we want peace, we eventually realize that both the outside and the inside world present us with the same challenge: to discover the stillness within and form that stillness to feel compassion for ourselves and all other beings. Acting from the inside to shape the outside, we might very well change our small planet of the earth. Saint Bernard of Clairvaux said, "Spiritual life is like living water that springs up from the very depths of our personal spiritual experiences. In spiritual life, everyone has to drink from his or her own well." E.B. White. I arrive in the morning torn between a desire to improve, in parentheses, or save the world, and a desire to enjoy, in parentheses, or savor the world. This makes it hard to plan the day. Mahatma Gandhi. Detachment is not indifference. It is the prerequisite for effective involvement. Often what we think is best for others is distorted by our attachments to our opinions. We want others to be happy in the way we think they should be happy. It is only when we want nothing for ourselves that we are able to see clearly into others' needs and understand how to serve them. No matter how insignificant the thing you have to do it well as you can. Give it as much of your care and attention as you can. Give the thing you regard as most important. Wow. Tammy Simon, publisher of Sounds True catalog. I just returned from a 3-week meditation training in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. Was it transformative? Definitely, but not in the ways I might have thought. Instead of returning to Sounds True calm and even tempered, I feel stirred up as though I am living in a wider bandwidth, sensitive and responsive to an unfamiliar range of emotional experiences. What's happening? I believe that spiritual transformation unfolds as we let go on deeper and deeper levels. The process, both exquisitely joy-filled and challenging to the part of us that wants to be in control, requires that we surrender our plans and schemes and trust the intelligence of direct felt experience. It is a journey of adventure in which we let go of the known and discover the new and the unexpected. Sister Helen Prejean. What if each of us were judged solely by the worst thing we ever did in our lives? While I do not condone violence, I do advocate compassion. While I cannot imagine the grief of losing a loved one to violent crime, I also could not bear the pain of living with revenge in my heart. And while it is important to feel safe as a society and as an individual, each of us must decide for ourselves how to translate outrage into mercy. Eknath Easwaran. 2 Cents Worth is his title. In India, there's a story about a man who was the perfect model of respectability, who always did what the letter of the law demanded. When he died, he was taken before a monk, the cosmic auditor. Chitragupta looked at the man's record. There was not one single entry on the debit page, and he was impressed. Then he turned to the credit page and stared in astonishment. This page, too, was completely blank. Chitragupta didn't know what to do. The man had never helped anybody, never hurt anybody, never offended anybody, never loved anybody. He couldn't be sent to heaven but he couldn't be sent to hell either. So he took him to the Brahma, the god of creation, and said, "You made this guy. What shall I do with him?" Brahma looked at the statue of books and couldn't find a precedent to cover the case. So he said, "Take him to Krishna." Krishna said, "The buck stops here." He examined the record very carefully, and there, almost illegible, was an ancient credit entry. Gave 2 cents to a beggar at the age of 6. There, Sri Krishna said, return his 2 cents and send him back to earth to try again. Until we have learned to give freely of ourselves, we have not learned how to live. Wow. Amen and hallelujah on that. Wow. Okay, the 10 basic precepts. There are 10 basic precepts, 3 of body, 4 of speech, and 3 of mind. They describe what to avoid and what to cultivate. The 10 precepts are useful guidelines to help us examine our behavior and shift in a direction that honors the inherent wakefulness in all beings. Body. One should not kill, rather one should protect the lives of beings. One should not steal or take what is not freely given, rather one should practice generosity. One should not commit sexual misconduct or cause others to break their vows. One should keep one's vows and respect the vows of others. Speech. One should not lie, rather one should speak the truth. One should not divide others or sow discord, rather one should speak in a way, go reconcile or bring people together. One should not speak harshly, rather one should speak gently and kindly. One should not engage in gossip or idle chatter, rather one should speak in a useful way or say prayers or mantras. Mind. One should not covet the possessions or accomplishments of others. Rather, one should learn to be generous and take delight in others' successes. One should not wish to harm others or bear resentment. Rather, one should cultivate the desire to help others. One should not hold wrong views, such as thinking one's actions will have no result. Rather, one should practice the Dharma, establishing oneself in a true and authentic view. Wow. So the idea is you are where your attention takes you, that you really are your attention. You know, sometimes when you talk to someone and they say, "Oh, I wasn't paying attention," they are telling the truth. So wherever we put our attention is where we flow. So meditation just allows us to put our intention or attention on ourselves. You know, again, Dharma, the natural law or reality. The thing is, we are considered supernatural beings. We're already filled with the super. I feel like our portion in life or our challenge in life is to go to the natural. We overcomplicate so many things in life because we're always looking outside of ourselves. So wisdom, Dharma, meditation. Again, meditation has survived the ages of time. And so I hope that you're inspired today to just take a moment. There's so many amazing and beautiful ways to meditate now. You have apps that you can meditate. You have companies like Peloton and Alo and other gyms that offer apps on the side that you can practice meditation. Honest to goodness, the fact that we have all these tools, everyone should meditate. It's just like yoga practice. There are like 6-8 main ways to practice yoga, 6 main styles, I should say. And meditation, there are a plethora of ways to meditate. It's just like going shopping for new furniture or shopping for a car. You don't necessarily walk into the store and buy the first couch that you see. Same thing with meditation. You have to test out what works for you. Maybe silence works for you. Maybe listening to music works for you. Maybe listening to binaural beats work for you. Maybe just sitting and looking in nature. Maybe just sitting in a forest. Maybe sitting at the beach and listening to ocean waves. The idea is we're our own guinea pigs, and it's trial and error. But I tell you, it is so worth it to include it and make it a priority in your life. Studies have shown even 1, 2, or 3 minutes a day can be very transformative. Thank you, as always, for tuning in to another episode of Astrodology with Astrid. Please be well, please stay safe, and thank you again for tuning in. Namaste. Thank you for listening to Astrodology. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help support the podcast, please hit the subscribe button and tell your friends about it by sharing this program on social media. You can also follow me on Instagram at Coda Life Goddess or at codalife.com. Coda is C-O-T-A, Coda Life Goddess or codalife.com. Thank you again for listening to Astrodology, and I'll see you next time.